The following is a review for critical, analytical, and educational purposes only, and is protected under Article 17 and 107 in the United States Fair Use Code. This video is not an infringement on copyright. Please enjoy the video.
I'd just like to open this video by saying that I've been a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog for as long as I can remember. One of my very first memories was playing Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic 2 on my Sega Mega Drive. I remember waking up on Christmas Day 1998 and receiving a Sega Dreamcast with Sonic Adventure. I've been a fan of Sonic before I was a fan of Mario, before I liked the Hulk, or before I loved Doctor Who. Sonic the Hedgehog is my definitive childhood franchise, and I've been a huge fan of the games. Yes, there have been some rough patches, some very, very rough patches, but I find a lot to love about his games, and I even like Sonic as a character, and how he's been presented in other forms of media such as short films, TV shows. I really like Sonic X and other forms. So yesterday Sony announced that they were partnering up with Sega to produce Sonic the Hedgehog movies, at least one a year by their estimation, and that Neil Moritz will be a producer on the franchise. Moritz as a producer doesn't worry me too much, as he's been a producer on some pretty good movies as well as some bad ones and mediocre ones, and Sony are teaming up with Mars Animation Planet, who worked on the Sonic Night of the Werehog short film, as well as the CGI cutscenes for the current Sonic the Hedgehog video games, and they do a pretty spectacular job of those. What's really setting off alarm bells here though is this statement from Masan Almeida, who is the CEO of Mars Animation Planet. Sonic has had dozens of adventures on the console and the small screen, and we're thrilled that he's now coming to the big screen. Sony Pictures has had great success with hybrid animation and live action features, and we're confident that this collaboration will bring a fresh take to Sonic while still capturing everything that the fans love about him. So what's wrong with that statement, you may ask? This bit right here. Hybrid animation and live action features. For those of you who don't know, this type of animation is about making a live action movie but with CGI characters at their centre. Think of movies like Alvin and the Chipmunks, Scooby-Doo or the Smurfs, the latter of which was produced by Sony. So what we're going to get is a live action Sonic the Hedgehog movie with a CGI main character. Now, I hate to come across as a petty fan, but no. No, this is a very, very dumb way to approach Sonic the Hedgehog. That's not to say that hybrid animation movies can't be good, far from it. Stuart Little is probably the most prime example of a fondly remembered classic in this genre, but think about the movies that I mentioned earlier, Alvin, Scooby-Doo, the Smurfs. None of those characters are built for speed. They're built around mild slapstick and conversation sequences. When I think of Sonic the Hedgehog, I think of dizzying speeds, loops, corkscrews, frantic action, none of which are to be found in hybrid animation movies. And the reason for this is actually pretty simple. The camera. Yes, cinematography can allow for amazing fast-paced shots, but Sonic moves at the speed of sound. Good luck finding a cameraman who can follow that, but that's the beauty of conventional CG animation. The camera has no limits. You can get any shot, you can get any angle, you can follow anything. That is the realm that I feel Sonic belongs to. Have you seen The Adventures of Tintin, The Secret of the Unicorn? It's a motion capture movie directed by Steven Spielberg, and it has his trademark phenomenal camera work, including an action scene that follows the characters being chased in one 3-minute unbroken shot. That's how you use the camera in an animated movie, and Sony, I know that you have seen The Adventures of Tintin because one of your companies actually produced it. Also, when you make a live action hybrid movie, that implies that there will be human characters and that this will be set on Earth. I'm sorry to bring you guys and girls to reality here, but Earth does not have the geometry that is a trademark staple of the Sonic series. But it's all about the aesthetics. When I think of a cinematic Sonic adventure, I think of this. Now tell me you would not want to see something like that on the big screen. I doubt we get anything like that with a hybrid movie. Why does it need to be a mix of live action? What is wrong with normal 100% animation? How to Train Your Dragon is animated, and that appeals to people of all ages with a fantastic aesthetic and great camera work. Why not make a Sonic movie set in the Sonic universe with the boundless and limitless potential that CG can offer? If you want live action elements, then maybe have a live action Robotnik in this CG world, but I'd still go for live action with him because his design is inherently cartoony. I understand wanting to make something like Halo, Gears of War or Bioshock into a live action film because those have a true to life aesthetics, but cartoony concepts like Sonic or Mario, they do not do well in live action. But when you put a character like Mario, Kirby, Pikachu or Link into a CGI animated story, it just works. I know it will all come down to the writing, but the execution and approach of this movie will dictate the concept and the plot, not to mention the fact that hybrid live action movies are surprisingly expensive. Those Smurf movies cost around $100 million each to make, when your average animated film can be around $20 to $30 million cheaper if you're smart and don't get a celebrity voice cast. So with an animated movie, you'll not only get a product more true to the spirit and execution of Sonic the Hedgehog, but you might even save money while doing it. For goodness sake, you've already got a company that have been doing CG animation for Sonic games for years. They know what they're doing in this field. Let them do what they do best. Whereas Sony, no offense, but let's just say that your hybrid animation movies recently have really, well, they've kind of smurfed. Listen, this project has literally just been announced, so plans might change, but recently we've had trailers for a Ratchet & Clank movie as well as Sly Cooper, all produced by Sony. Those movies could suck, but they do look like they've leapt straight out of the consoles and onto the big screens. I do not want to see Sonic the Hedgehog talking to, I don't know, Neil Patrick Harris, no offense. I don't want to see a limited scope on a concept that is limitless. No matter what you think of his recent games, it's safe to say that the Blue Blur does deserve better. So here's a quick summary on what I would do if I was in charge. 1. Go all CG. 2. Bring in Ryan Drummond or Jason Griffith as the voice of Sonic. 3. Find some way to include Dan Green. 4. Have Crush 40 do the soundtrack. And 5. Have better writing than this.
Shara, will you grant me one more wish? I wish for a mountain of handkerchiefs. Now, just let yourself cry, as much as you need to. You'll have plenty of handkerchiefs to help you through it.
Yeah, maybe the writing is a bit more important than those 4 other points.